Hi everyone, I'm Antoinette Crosby coming to you from the National Museum of Women in the Arts right here in downtown DC.
It's the only major museum in the world dedicated to celebrating women in the arts. We'll show you what we mean in just a moment, including a must-see exhibit we hope goes viral.
But first, welcome to Artico, art in your community. "21 black female artists born between 1891 and 1981.
From expressive prints to avant-garde sculptures to majestic paintings, this new exhibition at the National Museum of Women in the Arts shines a light on these trendsetters in the field of abstract art.
Magnetic Fields, Expanding American Abstraction, 1960s to today, is about celebrating and arguing for the relevance of black women artists to the field of American abstract art. It is certainly not meant to be an overview of all black women abstract artists, but the works in this exhibition, the artists in this exhibition, were selected because of the formal qualities that their works share. One of the places where the language of abstraction took root in the 1960s was Washington, D.C., and that's why so many of the artists in the exhibitions have these particular ties to the area. A large number of artists in this exhibition have ties specifically to Howard University, not least of which is Alma Thomas, who's kind of the grande dame in this exhibition of abstraction. She was the first graduate from Howard University's Fine Arts Department in 1924. There are artists in this exhibition like Mary Lovelace O'Neill, who studied at Howard University, whose work is completely abstract, oftentimes very minimal, but she gives her works titles that carry either very personal significance to her or political significance. And then there are other artists in the exhibition like Lillian Thomas Burwell and E.J. Montgomery have lived and worked in DC for decades and created art. One of the largest paintings in the exhibition is by Sylvia Snowden. It's a large painting, it's 10 feet tall. It's paint on canvas. There's a lot of paint on that canvas. It's very exuberant. It's kind of celebrating the relationship that her parents had and kind of the impact that her parents had on her as an individual as well as an artist. Hanging right next to Sylvia Snowden's works are the works by Jenny C. Jones. Jenny C. Jones is very interested in sound and music history in particular. And her series of works that are in this exhibition carry musical terms in their titles, and they're also made out of acoustic paneling. They're used to mute or to dampen sound in a recording studio, for instance, or in a movie theater. She's thinking about the influence of African-American music, jazz in particular, on the broader American music scene, and kind of the historical silencing of those contributions to broader American music. And it's really fascinating to see where some of the older and the younger generations come together. It can be in terms of materials that they used, inspirations for their work, whether it's about something personal, something political, something scientific. This exhibition has a little bit of everything. The goal in bringing multiple generations together for this exhibition is to highlight the fact that black women artists have been working in abstraction for a very long time, and they continue to do so. Historically sidelined because of their race and gender, this exhibition is bringing many of them into the spotlight for the first time.
This vibrant painting is Magnetic Fields by Mildred Thompson. Right now, we're headed over to DC's oldest neighborhood. While the popular holiday carol says, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow," we're going to show you why Georgetown says, "Let it glow."
This has become a traditional wow moment in Georgetown. Check out this eye-popping outdoor light show. Thanks to the Georgetown Business Improvement District, We all have the chance to bask in the glow of this annual public art event. In its 4th year, Georgetown Glow makes both the season and the neighborhood sparkle.
Georgetown Glow is a month-long public art exhibition of light art all throughout Georgetown. It's free, it's open to the public, and it's a different way to reimagine the season of light, the holiday season.
This year's installation and the projects are absolutely spectacular. They're bigger, they're brighter, they're more interactive, they're playful, there's meaning behind the artwork. It's something that you can't miss this holiday season.
We have 9 works throughout all areas of Georgetown, from the waterfront to Wisconsin Avenue. We have several international artists from the Amsterdam Light Festival. We have local artists from DC. And we also have an audio tour this year, which is new, so that people can access it on their mobile phone as they're touring the exhibition.
Horizontal Inference is along K Street, and it's made up of many UV ribbons. This installation changes the environment because these ribbons wrap around trees in this sort of island, and the UV ribbons soak up the sun during the day, and then at night with lights emit this beautiful glowing effect. Aqueous. It is an interactive landscape that is made out of diachromatic glass and then LED lights underneath. And so when no one is on it, it has this like beautiful blue glowing effect. But when people start stepping on it, jumping, interacting with it, it changes colors. Bands of friendship are these multiple colors and bands of and rings of light that are sort of stacked and horizontal onto each other. And it's really this beautiful installation that's best to view from right next to it. My Light is Your Light is a beautiful installation of almost a family unit of a man, a woman, children. It's sort of emblematic of the immigration experience of people coming and arriving and kind of struggling to get to where they are. I think it's important to interact with the artwork. Interacting helps one connect with the artwork and really get an understanding of what it looks like, feels like. On the Georgetown Glow website, you can download a curator's tour, which will walk you through each of the installations and tell you more about each project. The website also has a full description and map.
We really encourage people to come out and view each work, even if it means multiple trips. Each artist has a different message and a different reason for why they created what they did. Some of it is just playful and interactive and whimsical. Others have a more poignant message about society and about the state of where things are in the world. So it's a very, I think, thoughtful exhibition and just sort of a different way to reflect on the season.
This is Shanique Smith's Whirlwind Dancer. And speaking of dancing, for 23 years they haven't missed a beat. To the delight of all ages, Step Africa is back with their magical musical holiday step show.
The dance troupe is an artistic nod to step shows performed by Black sororities and fraternities at HBCUs. They've blended that tradition with African movement and other high-energy dance styles. The percussive dance group claps, stomps, and frolics for your viewing pleasure. Check them out at the Atlas Theater. You have until the end of December, so get steppin'.
Step Africa's magical musical holiday step show is a tradition now. This is our 6th year at the Atlas Performing Arts Studio on H Street.
We were founded in 1994 by C. Brian Williams, and we travel the world spreading this love of the art form, and we really enjoy what it is that we do. We like to define stepping as a highly energetic, polyrhythmic, percussive dance form, and it was created right here in the United States by historically African-American fraternities and sororities. It is going on all throughout the month of December, and we are the featured artists for Winterfest. It's a winterland of fun. We like to share our art form with our different families and friends in the area. And we like to step with our polar friends. So we have our Arctic friends that we like to shake it and have fun with.
It's a time to escape and let everyone be a child and come out and enjoy the holiday spirit with us.
Step Africa has just completed our 3-week debut, off-Broadway debut of the Migration series, and that was a phenomenal experience. At the beginning of 2018, we have our annual Step Explosion show at Strathmore, and that's where we host some of the hottest step teams in the area, and you also get a chance to see Step Africa perform.
For many artists in our area, it's hard to find a space to create and to show their work. But there's a special place in Northern Virginia where both budding and professional artists can go to get inspired.
Inside this historic schoolhouse is the Arlington Arts Center. Since 1974, it's been a welcomed oasis for artists and art lovers.
We're devoted to connecting audiences to contemporary art, and we do that through contemporary art exhibitions, educational programming, and an artist residency program. Arlington Arts Center offers a year-round schedule of classes serving hundreds of area children. And then we have a series of classes all year round for adults. Usually this is pertaining to painting, drawing, mixed media assemblages. Our exhibitions program is aimed at bringing in artists from across the Mid-Atlantic region. And the goal of the program is to bring the best contemporary artists to the Arlington Arts Center in a series of exhibitions. We have a fantastic studio residency program at Arlington Arts Center. These studios are private working spaces that we subsidize as an institution. The DC area is a very, very expensive area for anyone to live in, let alone artists. And so it's part of our mission to provide space for artists to work in so that they can make the work that we will all enjoy. The Nasty Women Art Talks going on today at the Arlington Arts Center are in collaboration with a larger event called Now Be Here, and it features a number of female artists talking about their roles and experiences as women in the art world. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5, and it's completely free to come in and enjoy this fantastic work. We'll also have an artist talk featuring the artist in our current exhibition, and that's a fantastic opportunity for the public to come in. Again, it's free to see the exhibition and also to meet the artist and hear from the artists who produced the work.
If you're looking for something to do, we have a few ideas. Students from Reston Elementary Schools will have their time to shine during a special exhibit. Their art, which pays tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King, will go on display at the Reston Community Center. The artwork reflects King's life and the Civil Rights Movement. The exhibit runs January 5th through the 31st. Is one of your resolutions to learn about photography? Then consider a class at Glen Echo Park or the Art League. To find out more, go to theartleague.org and glenechopark.org. They've had huge hits like Conga and Rhythm Is Gonna Get You. Cuban-born Gloria Estefan and her husband, producer Emilio, are a musical force. They have won 26 Grammys and sold over 100 million records. Now their entire life is set to music in a new musical called On Your Feet. You can see it at the Kennedy Center Opera House. It runs January 9th through the 28th.
Sometimes we set out on one career path, but later take a complete detour. That's what Chicago native Alice Bergen Phillips did. She came to our area to study politics, but then answered another call, cheesemonger. What is it, you ask? Well, I'll let Alice explain.
A cheesemaker makes cheese, a cheesemonger sells cheese. But cheesemongers are also more like a sommelier is to wine. It's somebody who knows a lot about cheese and can educate their customers. My business is called Cheese Monster. And really what I try and do with my business in all aspects, either through the cheese boards, through my classes, through my cheese club, is to make cheese approachable. you never really get bored with cheese. There's so many different aspects that you can delve into, either from a food aspect of, you know, what does it taste like, what's the texture like, what are the flavor notes, that whole thing. Or you can get into it from a science perspective. There's a lot of really intense science that goes into cheese making to do with, you know, everything from, you know, molecular structures to molds and bacterias. I've been lucky enough to come from a family with an artistic background as well, so being able to take that background and apply it to food is sort of what I'm after with my cheese boards. I'm, you know, very influenced by art, and I try and bring art and that artistic sensibility to my cheese boards, kind of marry the two mediums. Andy Goldsworthy and his sort of idea of the ephemeral really influenced me a lot. It's all, you know, transient, it's not there forever, and that's how I feel about my cheese board. I'll do an event and be like, oh, it's too pretty to eat, or oh, I don't want to ruin it. But that's the whole idea, is that it's not here forever. The other person who has had a huge impact on my cheese boards is a lady named Lilith Spencer. She's also a cheesemonger. She's based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's bananas how good she is at her cheese board. I've really tried, in the name of being efficient, to plan out my boards ahead of time so that I can just come in and execute. I've learned I can't do that. I measure out all my stuff beforehand, but when it comes to the actual design of things, it's just whatever is in my head in that moment just kind of comes out. And what I try and do is marry the beauty with the flavor. So we'll start with the savory items on this board, like, you know, the cornichon, the small little pickles we've got here, pickled okra from Gordy's Pickles here in DC. They're Cajun okra, which is amazing. Some tomatoes. Whenever I'm picking produce, I like to have stuff that has a bunch of different colors. Variety is appealing rather than kind of one block of color, so I always try and get sort of rainbowy tomatoes here. Let's talk about a few of the cheeses that I've used on this board. I like to use a combination of domestic local cheeses, but then also a few imported as well. One of the things that I love to do is showcase small producers who I love and who are doing a good job. This one is a local cheese from Firefly Farms called Mary Goat Round Spruce Reserve. This cheese is wrapped in bark, and basically you take a knife, run it right around the top edge, and then you can peel it right back, like that. And it's basically like a dip, really delicious. This cheese down here, the little triangles, is called Willow Wisp. It's from Fairy Tale Farm up in Vermont, and it's a cow's milk cheese, sort of hard, a little savory. The blue cheese here is one of my favorite blues. It's called Micella. It's from Denmark, really nice sweet blue, lots of fruity flavors. And then the last one over here, this is an Italian goat's milk cheese called Lateria di Capra. Sort of, you know, semi-firm, not super goaty, really, really tasty cheese. So we're gonna go over to our, the more sweet side of the board, and we start with some, you know, grapes and blueberries, which I like to use together because the shapes kind of echo each other. I'm a little obsessed with these dried kiwis, just because, one, the color is like beautiful, but also they taste really good. Like, they actually really taste like kiwi, which is amazing. And then one of my absolute favorite / most addictive things that I always have on my boards are spiced and candied nuts. These ones come from Treat Bake Shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. These nuts are actually specifically designed to be paired with cheese. One of my favorite things about my job is introducing people to new products that they either didn't know about or didn't think they liked. For example, pickled okra, you know, that paired with cheese, a lot of people don't think about, and so getting that sort of like surprised, oh my God, in a good way, look on someone's face is really satisfying for me. It always makes me excited when you see people kind of like come up and like sneak a little bit here, sneak a little bit there. It's just, it's very satisfying.
Before we present our last feature, here's a Did You Know?
Did you know that each year this museum presents 10 world-class exhibitions featuring women artists? It also makes sure the world knows the power of women in the arts and their ability to create movements that can change the course of history.
We also know music is a big part of the holiday season, from Handel's Messiah to Deck the Halls to Feliz Navidad. It just wouldn't be the holiday season without the sound of music.
For years, the Unity of Washington, D.C. Choir has fired up the Christmas spirit with a free annual concert. It's a special night where folks from all over come to hear the beautiful holiday singing. Between rehearsals, Artico found out what makes the all-volunteer choir and their performance so special.
A good choir consists, first of all, of people who are dedicated, people who want to sing, and people who enjoy music. The choir here at Unity of Washington, D.C., I feel covers all of those things. It's like a family unit. Everybody works well together. They know what is expected of them, and they put in the time to rehearse and to learn the music. I have an excellent team of musicians in the choir. We also have many musicians who are members of the church, including our conductors that we're using for this particular concert, Betty Brentley and Henry Brown. A lot of times we pull conductors from the choir. They have a willingness that I haven't really seen in other choirs that I've worked with. For the concerts, we always bring in guest artists and special musicians. I've been called a taskmaster, and sometimes I have to be, but they know it is done out of love and true love. I love all of them unconditionally. And at the end, they always do a great job.
Richard Payne, my music director, is a director par excellence. He absolutely helps this place to come alive with not only his music, but he is also what I call a master metaphysician. He brings the truth to his music. His music has a message. He brings the choir to life, has them practice and really perform at the highest level possible. And he has the ability to draw forth the best in each person and each part of the choir. So we're just blessed to have him. We're grateful and thankful for him and for the trio that he also plays with, the Richard Payne Trio. They also work with us on Sunday mornings.
The music department at Unity puts on 2 major concerts a year. One for the Christmas season and then one for the spring. The Christmas concert, I think, is the favorite among many people because there's always someone who comes after the concert and they just say, well, I really wasn't in the spirit of the season, but this concert always brings me to that point. And they feel better once they leave the concert than when they entered. And that's the true music mission, to change our focus, to change our moods, and to heal us. We always do a diverse musical concept. I love all types of music. We will have something classical. We will end up including a jazz composition. We also have a little bit of gospel music in there. So a little bit of everything for everybody.
The choir just sings with so much joy. They are family, they're connected, and it all comes through their music. It's a wonderful way to get into the Christmas spirit. Plus the music is just so fine.
I believe this concert is quite popular among the Washington, D.C. area. One, because it's always been a tradition, and 2, the choir is really good. And I'm not saying that because I'm the music director, but we really do have an outstanding music department. We work very hard to bring a diverse music program, and people see that. And each year they call in months ahead of time to the church. What is the date of the Christmas concert? I want to make sure I'm available and that I'll be in town.
It is a professional performance. So the word is out that Unity of Washington, D.C.'s Christmas concert is truly outstanding.
Wow, what joyful music. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Artico. And a special thanks to the folks here at the National Museum of Women in the Arts for inviting us into this celebrated and beautiful space. I'm Anquanette Crosby. I'll see you next year. But in the meantime, always remember to follow your art.
This program was produced by WHUT, Howard University Television, and made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.